decommissioning scopes significantly enhances operational efficiency with a remarkable 20% increase in smart room operations. Actively shaping the process design phase for CFR project, Vincent upholds strict compliance with environmental safety standards. As a petroleum engineer, an intern at Ansett Integrated Services Limited, Vincent's dedication to excel shines through. She's a proud member of the Society of Petroleum Engineers, Section 103, the Nigerian Society of Chemical Engineers, a remarkable 20% increase in smart room operations, the American Institute of Chemical Engineers process design phase for CFR project. Sorry about that. Vincent, in her current role as production forecasting and budgeting engineer at Total Energies, seamlessly blends expertise and dedication to elevate the success of the energy sector. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's make welcome our moderator for this evening's session, Precious Vincent. Over to you, Precious. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daniel, for the introduction. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Can you hear me? Confirm you can hear me, please.
Yes,
I can hear you.
Okay, good evening, everyone. You're welcome to this YP Financial Forum, Strategy for Spending, Saving, and Investing. Can you please move to the next slide, Mr. Okay, so before we'll start with an opening remark by our YP Chair, Justice. Please, you have the floor, Justice.
Yeah.
Hello? Hello, YP Chair, you have the floor.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry.
Over to you.
Okay, excellent. So I want to welcome everyone on the call, right? I can see folks on the call from Section 103 and Section 197. We actually thought this collaboration would be a perfect one to actually discuss, because after the U-type season, there's actually a rush. People have spent so much, so they don't know how to actually, how will I start this year? How will I do that? What are my plans and all that? And is actually poised on the importance of this discussion, that we need to have a plan to start the year with, as it ranges to their investment, savings, spending, and no better time than this platform. So I want to welcome everyone on the call. Please make sure that you pay rapt attention. That's rapt attention. We have expertise, industry, juggernauts on the call in this subject matter. Yeah. So please make sure you pay rapt attention, just like I said earlier, and get the best you can get from this call. So I welcome all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, YP Chair, for that wonderful open remark. So let's dive into the events of the day. Mr. Simeon, please, next slide. So we also want to recognize our senior members here. We are pleased to have some of our senior members joining us here, and we hope that this session brings you value. I can see we have some senior members on the call, and we want to say thank you for joining us. And as I said before, we are hoping the session will bring you much value. Thank you. Senior business slide. Okay, so we have one of our guests for today. Her name is Rachel Iango. Rachel is an experienced finance and tax professional with a wealth of experts in energy and natural resources industry. complemented by a background in two major multinational Big Four firms, Deloitte and KPMG, both in Nigeria. She's a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, CITN, and an association member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN. Her experience cuts across professional tax, finance, and tax consulting. She has bring a meticulous approach to financial management, tax and regulatory compliance, and strategic planning within different industries around the globe. She's currently the financial advisor, PSC, liaising at Shell Nigeria, where she plays a vital role in the delivery of optimized funding for deep water operation, as well as effective stakeholder management for operational excellence. Beyond her deliberate efforts in career growth and development, she has profound passion for supporting and empowering women and children, advocating for their well-being and fostering positive change in their lives. She's also enthusiastic about mentoring young people. Welcome, Rachel Iago. We are very pleased to have you in this section. Please a virtual round of applause for Rachel Iago. So our next...
Thank you, Precious.
Thank you. You're welcome. We're happy to have you here. So our next guest we have here, I'm sorry if I call your name wrongly, is Mr. Abdul Razak Rafiko. He's a seasoned banking professional with 2 decades of strong accomplishments in product management, business development, sales and marketing, creating credit management, service quality, budgeting, change management, channel management, and financial inclusions. Having served in reputable organizations, including the Bank of Africa, Ghana, and Society Generale, Ghana has demonstrated resilience and was actively involved with strategic and self-excellence. He is currently in charge of marketing, research, and strategy with Commercial Operation Division of Ghana National Gas Company Limited, GNGC. He's a PhD candidate in marketing with the University of Professional Studies, Accra, UPSA. He holds a master's degree, MBA in Corporation Governance from UPSA, a postgraduate diploma, PGD, in Management Practice from Paris Graduate School of Management, PGSM, and a diploma in National Trade at Ghana Export Promotion Authority, GEPA, affiliate to Institute of Export and International Trade, IOE, and IT, an International Trade Center. Wow. Mr. Abu Razak, we are so happy to have you in this session. Welcome. A virtual hand of applause to Mr. Abu Razak.
Thank you so much. I'm also elated to be part of this team. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so take a deep breath with us into recognizing strategy for spending, saving, and making profitable investments in 2024. This is our panel session. Welcome to our panel session. So we have Mr. Abu Razak on the call, and we also have Madam Rachel on the call. And let us start with Madam Rachel. Can you please give us your thoughts on this topic?
Thank you, Precious. Thanks so much. So on the topic, right, I was particularly interested in the opening remark by the YP chairman, right? He talked about how most of us would have spent so much at as at December, right? And we're all wondering, oh, how do I plan my financials for the year? What do I need to check? How do I manage my savings? What are the investment options available to me? And all that. So it's a very important topic, right? Especially in this era of inflation. And I know that inflation is not just particular to Nigeria. There's also been some sort of inflation in Ghana, right? So it's a good thing that the both sections, the Nigeria and the Ghana team SPE, have collaborated to engage and learn from each other. So I believe that we're all here to learn, just as the chairman said, just have an open mind, and we'll be looking at practical approach on spending. I will be focusing on the spending and budgeting bit, while my co-panelist, Mr. Abdurazak, will be focusing on the investment bits. Just come with an open mind and, be ready to learn, ask questions, seek guidance, as we always advise. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rachel. Mr. Abdurazak, over to you.
Thank you very much. The topic is quite interesting. And I must say it cut across generations, whether X, Y, or Z. We all need to manage our finances one way or the other so that we can live a better life during our active service and also have a very good pension plan so that when we are out of service, we will be able to lay our hands on the decisions that we have made in the past. And that will give us a good time to rest well, enjoy our savings, and also take care of our grandchildren. So I would say this session comes with a lot of motivation for the younger ones because times are so challenging financially, socially, and economically. So let's open ourselves up, ask very important questions so that at the end of the day, we'll have this program very participatory and we would all go home with some smiles, with some smiles with the hope that we have learned something, we can implement it, and it will leave a lasting impression on our lives. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Abdurazak. For this section, we have, as you have heard Rachel, she said we have two subsections. So we're going to be focusing on effective spending strategy for young professionals and also saving and investment strategy for young professionals. So at the end of this section, we want to know how we can save and we also want to know how we can invest our money. So we also want to know how we can spend our money effectively. We don't want to retire and have nothing at the end of it. Okay, thank you very much, our able guests. So let's start with some questions. Then maybe you can, from the questions, then if you have any question, as Daniel said, you could just drop it in the chat box. Then if you have any question you want to ask, you could also put on, raise up your hands, virtual hands. Okay, so the first question I want to ask our panelists, so it's open to the two of you. I want to know, how can young professional create a balanced budget to optimize their spending? Do you get me?
Oh yes, Precious. Thank you for the question. So, I mean, young professionals and balancing budget, right? The first thing I would want to make clear is, do young professionals even know what a budget is? Right? So it would be nice to explain what a budget is. So a budget is basically an estimation of your revenue and expenses, right, over a specified future period of time, meaning that before you spend, you must have a budget in place. So when we understand that, a budget typically tracks your income and expenses. And when we're talking about your income, what are we looking at? All your sources of revenue, right? It could be income from employment, it could be income from your investments, such as dividends, interest, rents. It could be income from a side hustle, right? And then you need to also track your potential expenditures, right? And I mean, when I talk about expenses, it could be as much as I mean, we can always have expenses, right? But it's always ideal for you to be able to classify your expenses into fixed and variable. Fixed in the sense that you know that those expenses will definitely crystallize. For example, if you live in a rented apartment, right? It means that your rent is fixed. Every year you're supposed to pay an annual rent to the landlord, just so you have a roof under your head. And I mean, another example could also be living expenses. So I mean, some people have the habit of apportioning a certain amount of money to feed in transportation and all of that. You know that every month you will need to have some sort of living expenses, right? So it is very important to be able to track your income, track your expenses, right? So that you are creating a very balanced budget and not having an oversight of expenses. And while building your budget, right, it's also important to prioritize or to make room for contingency, meaning that in the event of any unforeseen situation, you can cushion the effect of that risk, right? So it's also good to make provisions for that kind of cover. Thank you.
Okay, so I would quickly add that budgeting is very key for young professionals. By my understanding of young professionals, it means somebody who has just taken up a role in an organized institution where he or she is earning some level of income. So it is important for such a professional to have a budget, like my colleague mentioned. Now, what are your income sources? Are you getting income only from employment? Are you getting income from side issues? Are you getting income from investments? Or are you getting income from review that you do online from institutions? Or do you have a blog that earns you some income? Now, once you analyze these revenue inflows, then you will look at what you actually need to survive. Now, the challenge here is that we are under so much societal pressure now, trying to join the crowd by behaving like multi-millionaires, though we are just starting work. So I would say that you should not live beyond your means. Your expenditure should, as much as possible, be below your revenue, your income, so that you will have some surpluses that you can invest, and that will also generate some level of income for you now and into the future. So yes, indeed, it's very prudent for a young professional to have a budget, and that will guarantee them a very successful career, because a happy person, I bet you, can generate so much in terms of output at his or her workplace. So I say that if you don't have a budget now, let's try and have a budget, track your revenue inflows, look at your expenditure, and indeed you have to look at those that are very relevant. Some of them you can defer them. When you have a buffer, maybe you look at them. But essentially, you look at what will keep you going and make you a more efficient and effective professional. Thank you.
Thank you, Abu Razak. From just a quick summary of what from what our guest said, two keywords. Two keywords. Number one, that you should know your revenue inflow. Know your revenue inflow and do not live beyond your means. So, and we also we also learned about fixed budgets and variable budgets. You should know your fixed budget, things like your rent, your living expenses, those are your fixed budgets, and you should also know your variable budget. So the second question now will be directed to Abdulrazak. The question is, what are the primary considerations when setting up a saving plan for long-term financial goals? What are the primary considerations when setting up a saving plan for long-term financial goal? You get
Okay.
me?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
The question is, what is savings? Now, when you get your income, you would first and foremost look at your needs. Needs are very important, and needs here refers to things that would ensure that you are surviving. For instance, your rent, your transportation, the clothes that you wear. These are very, very important. Then secondly, we talk about your wants. These are things that are nice to have. If you don't have them, you might survive. But then it is good you have them. It's also important. Then the next one is your savings. So in certain jurisdictions, it is recommended that you should apportion your income in the ratio of 50, 30, 20. 20 for your needs, for your savings, 30 for your wants, and then 50 for your needs. Now, why do you keep these savings? So that you are setting aside this percentage of money, and you can rely upon it in the event of any emergencies. Now, one of the things that you have to look at before making a saving is your income. How much do you earn? Secondly, of your income, how much do you need to meet your basic needs is very essential. Now, you look at your want as well. Then the other question is, am I going to have a long-term savings plan or a short-term saving plan for a particular project? Bear in mind that savings account, though they earn some level of interest, but it is not as huge as a fixed deposit. So let's say in Ghana, a savings account can earn you something like 3 to 5% per annum, whereas maybe a fixed deposit could give you like almost 30% per annum. But then this is an account that you are setting aside so that it will be there for you anytime you need it. The other question is, which institution am I going to keep my savings with? This era of certain financial institutions fizzling out, if you are not very diligent and probably you want to make some huge interest, you might end up losing your entire savings. So the credibility of that institution is very important. Thirdly, how disciplined are you such that you can set aside a percentage like the 20%? Maybe what you can do is to have a standing order from your bankers where you take your salary. Okay, I want to set aside this amount every month into my account. So every month they would push that money into that account for you. Then you can also talk about other incomes that you earn. So if you have a standing order, for instance, if you're earning like say $5,000 for the purpose of Nigeria and Ghana, $5,000 a month. We have set aside, let's say, $1,000 every month into your savings account. Now, we have windfall. You can go on a project and get certain allowances. For me, it is preferred that this money you haven't budgeted for it, you can put about 50% in that savings account. And that will ensure that it will grow more than you have projected for it to grow. Again, let's look at the inflation. You look at time value of money. If the inflation in your country is such that it might end up eating up your savings, then you may have to shine your eyes by looking at probably a fixed deposit in a very reputable financial institution. I'm using reputable in the sense that you have to be very careful as to which institution you are going to keep your life savings with. So yes, your level of income is very important. How much you plan to set aside is very important. How disciplined are you is equally important. And then the integrity of the institution that you are going to keep your savings is one of the considerations that you will have to consider when you want to have a long-term or a medium-term or a short-term savings plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abrazak, for that answering that question. You do justice to the question. Key points to note: 50% your needs, 30% for your wants, then 20% your savings. I hope you got that. I'm writing. I don't know if you're also writing, because this is financial series. We want to be able to get a lot of knowledge for money. Okay, so the next question is directed to our other guest, Rachel. Madam Rachel, we know that you're an expert in finance. So I want to ask, what role does financial apps and tools plays in helping young professionals manage their expenses? You know, currently we're having so many apps, some financial apps online everywhere. So what role do you think that this tool plays in helping us to manage these expenses? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. We're actually in the tech-centric era, so it's a very good question. Now, financial tools, right, or applications, they play a very critical role in helping young professionals manage expenses. And how does this happen? You know, with this kind of tools, you can have like a real-time tracking of your expenses. I mean, we talked about the budget earlier. A budget in itself is a financial tool, right? And it's something that all you need to do is go online and get a budget template, right? Once you get that template, you bring in your income, bring in your expenses, and see how healthy, your budget looks like before you even start to spend. So a budget could be a financial tool, right? What basically these tools help us to do is to check your habits, your spending habits. Remember that the focus is on spending. What exactly are you spending your monies on, right? Now, I'll give an example. I don't know how many of us have paid attention to our bank apps. I realize that most bank apps have like an expense tracker. So you see that they have helped you to categorize expenses into general, you see utilities, you see eating out, a couple of rent, and all of that. So the expectation is that as you are making transfers online, as you are spending, right, you track your expenses to the particular headers on that. It's something that a lot of us don't pay attention to, but I want us to. I mean, after this session, we should pay attention to it so that even without, using a pen to write, oh, I spent on this, I spent on that, you can just go to your bank app and, call up that report and see exactly what you're spending on. It will interest you to know that people spend on things that they typically should not spend on. I'll give you an example, right? Now, assuming you go to work and you have to eat lunch out every day. So you have to work 25 days, about 25 days a month, right? And imagine you have to spend on buying lunch. Some people order, you also incur some sort of delivery costs on your orders, right? If you put that money together at the end of the month, you will be amazed at how much you spend. So these kind of apps help you to track your spending real time, and then it helps you to also check your spending behavior. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rachel Yango. If you have any question, you could drop it in the chat box. And if you also have, if you want to speak, you could also raise your hands. Thank you for letting us know that our budget is a tool, because I know some of us here don't even do budgets. We just spend as the money comes. So that also brings us to the next question. To Mr. Abdul Razak, can you share practical tips for prioritizing spending to align with personal and financial goals? I know you've thought about you taught us about what is finance and everything. So we want to know like practical tips.
Where's your bag?
Are you here?
Don't bring your bag.
Okay, so if I got you right.
Yeah, bag. Sit here. Where's the pencil bag?
Okay, so if I got you right, you're talking about tips to financial success, right? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, sir. So like some practical tips for prioritizing spending to align with our personal and financial goals. Practical tips.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. As professionals, we really need to protect the bottom line. Our pockets need to be protected because the current demands on us are so enormous. So what is spending in the first place? Blow time. Let's show time. Name them. Really, one has to look at how to get value from every amount that you spend. Number one, to our young professionals, my co-panelists talk about eating out almost every day for 24 days. That's a lot on your finances. I know in other jurisdictions, you could have lunch from the institution you are working with, but people will still forgo this lunch and then make order for lunch probably on daily basis. In doing this, you have to assess where you are coming from. And I will always say, we should never follow the crowd when it comes to spending, because the next person whom you are trying to copy or emulate from, you do not know the financial support or backing that person has. 2, don't engage in impulse buying. You haven't planned for something. It's not part of your budget. You have seen it and that is it. I want this and I have to procure it. It is not a sound financial practice. Again, only buy things that you need. This is very, very important. Buy things that you really need. Now, anything that you buy and you might not use it for, let's say, 2 or 3 months, you haven't even looked at it, it is not worth buying, except it is something that probably you need for certain ceremonies. Again, I know people who always will want to show off anytime they go out with colleagues. Let me just say that the colleagues we are going out with, most of them or all of them are earning some level of income. There is nothing wrong when you all put resources together to finance an outing that all of you have embarked upon, rather than one person trying to play the yeoman or the showman to sponsor all of these people. So let's be penny wise. Ensure that whatever you are buying has an effect on your life. Otherwise, please do not buy it. Another thing you can do is, in order to avoid impulse buying, in it, you should plan your purchases. So maybe weekly, you need some level of groceries, volume of groceries, so you plan for it. Per week, I'll spend this on groceries. Now, do conscious window shopping by disciplining yourself. Look, today I'm going to do window shopping and I'm not buying any item. Go around, do your price comparison, and make sure that you get the best price for any item that you are going to buy. Indeed, when you practice this conscious window shopping, it will save you a lot in terms of impulse buying. Another thing you can do is if you really want to buy something which is quite substantial in terms of price, you might not necessarily need to use your monthly income to venture into this project. You can have an arrangement with the vendor, saying that you would pay on monthly basis. Let's say 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. Then you finish paying and you go for your item. The flip side is that you can do high purchase for certain items as well. And I know most banks also do consumer loans, saying that you can buy certain electrical gadgets, the banks will finance it, and then you pay over a period of time. So essentially, let's not follow the crowd. Let's, as much as possible, avoid impulse buying. Let's buy things that we really need. And let's be disciplined. Try to do conscious window shopping without any purchase. This, I can assure you, will guarantee that you will get value for any amount that you spend. And finally, instead of financing a very huge expenditure, you can let the banks take this expenditure, then you will pay it piecemeal and it doesn't affect your day-to-day expenditure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Aburazak, and thank you for reiterating those points, because I was about doing that, and thank you for allowing me to sink into my head, especially the points of impulse buying for some of us here. Okay, thank you very much. And the next question.
So sorry, Precious. I'd like
Okay,
to
sorry.
add to that question. It's actually a very loaded one. I hope
Okay,
that we got the
thank you.
point. Yeah. So just an addition, right? The stress there is on. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. The stress there is on prioritizing spending, right, to align with your goals. We can also seek opportunities for reduced spending. And how do we do this? So, for example, I mean, when you go shopping, right, you see different brands of a particular product, right? So you see toothpaste, there are different kinds of toothpaste and different prices, right? I mean, some of us have very high taste, some people have normal taste, okay? But then again, how do you find a balance when spending, especially in this era of inflation, right? And I'll continue to reference inflation because it has become a reality, right? So why don't you seek alternatives? Okay, and I give an example, right? I was at a pharmacy some days ago to buy a certain eye drop. 2 months ago, I got that eye drop for 8,000 naira. But just a week ago, I got I went to the same pharmacy and the eye drop was selling for 18,000. It was overwhelming. And I just simply asked, what are your options? And they showed me the options. And I just found a way to still stick within my, you know, 8,000 naira eye drop. I mean, it didn't change the quality of it. Is it serving the purpose? Yes. So those kind of decisions will help you spend wisely. Another thing we can also do is I see I see, and this is common with young people, right? You see young people having all sorts of subscriptions for entertainment. So I have a DSTV subscription. I have a Showmax subscription. I also have there's this, I think, Amazon Prime, right? I have Netflix, and you can name it all. Why don't you just, pick or decide to subscribe to the one that you resonate more with, right? And then you can share. I mean, if a sibling or a friend has a Netflix account, I can always use the account. Okay. So those kind of decisions will help you balance your spending. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel, for those additional comments. Thank you. Thank you. And for the audience, if you have any question, you can still drop it in the chat box. It's still open to all of us here. So, Rachel, the next question we have is for you. We want you to, could you please provide insights into the impact of market trends on long-term investment strategy for young professionals? You just talked about the eye drop that you just bought, and so we just want to know, can you just insights about these market trends? Our markets have been shaky, especially in Nigeria that we are now. I don't know about Ghana. So can you just tell us on how the market trends can impact our long-term investment strategy? Thank you.
Okay. So the reality, I'll still continue to leverage on inflation, right? Now, let's even start with your take home as an individual or as a young professional. And that's typically called your net pay, right? Your net pay is basically what you earn after taxes, basically what you have available for spending, right? And then when you have your net pay, the question is, how do I apportion these monies, right? I mean, I heard Mr. Razak talk about the allocation of how you allocate your finances, right, into living expense, savings, and investment, and all that. So the next question that comes to mind is, how do I get value from these earnings, right? And then you now begin to look at the reality of things. What in the environment where you actually reside, right? What are the macroeconomic factors, right? And how can I really, really get value from these monies? Now, for example, I'll use fuel. And I'll just use an example of an economic policy, right? So in January 2022, the average price of a liter of fuel was about 166 naira. That's about 2 Ghana cedis, right? As at January 2023, it became 253 naira. That's about 3.9 Ghana cedis thereabouts, which is, I mean, within a year, we could see an over 50% increase. And by May 2023, that is after the president had finally announced the removal of subsidy, we saw a significant hike in the price of fuel to about 560 naira. As at date, we're looking at a liter of fuel, right, petrol, for going for about 560. It's been a steady increase. The question now is, with this money that I have, what can I do? And then you now realize that what should be my priority? Should I focus on spending, investing, right? And how do I now allocate these monies? Now, of course, we already know the expectation is that you should know your fixed and variable expenses with priorities on your wants or your needs rather, right? What is essential for surviving. Now, in terms of long-term investments, it begins with you as an individual. What are you seeking to derive from that investment? What is your risk appetite as an individual? Okay. And what are the investment opportunities available to you? Right. There are so many investment opportunities out there, from stocks to ETFs, right? To mutual funds, Naira, dollar mutual funds in Nigeria. So it's, when it comes to investment opportunities, information is critical, because the goal is for you to earn some sort of passive income from those investments that you'll be delving into. So information is critical. So I would say that it's very important for you as an individual to get some learning or some key education on the type of investment you'd like to invest in, know the risk, know the pros, know the cons before you make those kind of investment decisions. Thank you.
Just to Rachel, thanks for the presentation. Precious, can I come in?
Yes, yes, you can, definitely.
Oh, okay. So just to add to what Rachel submitted, investing has become challenged in recent times because of some of the hiccups that we had in the economy. I don't know of Nigeria too, but Ghana also had our share of inflation. And we had some debt exchange program, which also affected the morale for people to invest. Nonetheless, like Rachel mentioned, there are other avenues for one to set aside money for the future by way of investments. So, for instance, I have seen Nigeria having this production about angel investments. Ghana, we started some few years ago. It went a bit quiet, and now I know some people have picked it up again, and it is up and working. So this works in the form of invest in certain startups, but also sharing your experience with them, supporting the business to grow, and then you also make your cut. Usually, you will have to invest between you get a stake between 10 to 25% stake in the company based on the investment that you put in. Again, despite all these challenges, another way you can secure yourself is by investing in long-term instruments. We can talk about insurance policies as well, where you would like life policies and then pension funds. You can keep your money there irrespective of your age. Because the thing is that whatever you invest today has a very good effect in the future, because I mean, despite all the inflation, things are going to normalize, and then you also get your returns at the end of the day. Another way we can also, I would say, boost our investment is by also earning more income. And how do you earn more income as a young professional? Now, one of the ways you can do is by not buying things that, so it's like an opportunity cost, not buying things that really you do not want. And if there's an avenue for you to sell things that you don't need online, you can do that as well. I know Ghana, we have a Gigi, we have a Tonaton and other platform where you can sell your old stuff. Again, you can do online service. And like I mentioned earlier, you can do, you can have a blog online where you publish relevant stuff based on your area of expertise. And that one can also give you some level of income. Another way one can make some level of income is by drop shipping. Now, this works in a way that you would need to sell items to prospective buyers without owning a shop. You only have an online shop. What you do is liaise with suppliers. So you be like a broker, a middleman. So you will get requests, then you get the supplier to supply them direct, then you make your margin. So if you are able to get these small side issues, I think it can one way boost our income. And once our income is boosted, then there's that propensity for us to put some in investments and also put some in savings, and as much as possible, be as penny wise as possible. Thank you very much. I think that there's been online a hand. The hand has been up for a long time.
Yes. Sorry, I just wanted to. Okay, so thank you very much for answering this question. So let's the hand that that's a Didion Graham. Please, can you ask your question?
Okay, thank you so much. It has been really enlightening. I want to thank Mr. Abdul Razak and Madam Rachel. Yes, something that has been tailored to me as an individual is the impulse buying, and most times it stems from a place of responsibility. A scenario whereby a nephew of yours or a cousin of yours needs something and you did not plan for it. And that happens very frequently. Sometimes it's a health issue, sometimes it's this, there's always something. And if it's available to release at that point, most times most times without even thinking about it, I just let it go. And I also learned that it's not from here, like previous knowledge, that it's more economical to buy things in bulk. So speaking of now expenses management, how do I relate those two concepts? Is it something I should throw away, or how should I address it? Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Erasmus. I hope I got the name right. Okay, so I'll take a go at this, right? So talking about impulse buying, I heard you say something that struck. You said if it's available. If it's available, so it's conditional, meaning that if it's not available, right, we will wait for maybe next month or or some other time. You could give the person that item as a birthday gift or something. So impulse to help with impulse buying, right? It's always nice for one to create a list before shopping. It's always nice to have a list before shopping. Okay, and let's not try not to get emotional when shopping. Now, I recall Mr. Razak talked about something while he was answering one of the questions, and he talked about trying to automating some of these payments, right? And what does that help us to do? So, for example, you have your income, right? You give your bank a standing order, say every month transfer X amount to this for maybe rent, transfer. You have maybe some structures that you help to just get those monies out of your bank. It means that at the end of the month, all you have left will likely be your living expense, right? That's some sort of control. It means that whatever you have not budgeted for with the balance you have in your account, you should not purchase. If you have to purchase, then you must need to seek some form of you must adjust your lifestyle to make accommodation or to make provision for other expenses. So for me, the first thing that comes to mind is it even available? Is it even available? Right? It also happens with black tax, right? Where you have people that just call you up to say, oh, Erasmus, please, I have this issue. Can you send me X amount of money? Right? And, you're a kind person, you just want to help, and you give out the monies, forgetting that you also have needs and you also need to consider your future. So for me, I'll say that we need to adapt strategies to help us with spending. And that's why your financial plan is critical. Your financial plan helps you to identify what your financial targets will be at the end of every year. So you could say, oh, at the end of this year, I want to have X amount of money in investments, X amount of money or in savings, or I want to be able to afford some items. Maybe I want to buy a car. I mean, I want to, I'm not talking about luxury because you need them, right? So this helps you to plan. Your financial plan helps you to see a picture, right, of where you want to get to before the end of the year or as at the end of the year. And so you already have a control that when it comes to impulse buying is a no-no. So if you have those kind of requests, then what you have to do is you forego something. You just talked about opportunity because you have to forego something. Okay, so what can I forego in this budget that I've drawn? What can I do without and afford it? Otherwise, just have a conversation and make a promise that you can fulfill, okay, if you have not planned for it. So that would be my take on impulse purchase. Thank you.
Okay, so let me add something small on this regarding buying in bulk. I think it's a practice that I do personally, and it helps a lot. So that actually forms part of your budgeting. So I'll need this item for this particular period, then you budget for it. Now, coming back to the impulse, which the gentleman related to the extended family. I think for Ghana and Nigeria, we have almost similar backgrounds. Some of us are saying that we are privileged, I must say, to have a lot of people around us. And I think in as much as you want to be very disciplined, it gets to a point where the reality hits you and you may have to take the bullet by sacrificing to help a brother or a sister or a cousin. But then there's a little caution here, like Rachel mentioned. Some might take it as an opportunity or another avenue for extorting or for extortion. So it will become one time too many. I want this, I want that. So you have to, as much as possible, try to manage it. Some of my friends, what they do, when you bring a request, you also analyze. It's okay, you know what? Look, I can make this and I hope it will help you. Then you give out. But if the muscle is there to be able to finance all, then they do. But in most cases, they try to meet the people maybe halfway or some way, somehow, so that they can also look elsewhere to augment whatever they get from them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for, hope we answered your question, Edidion. And then we have, before we take this other hand that is up, there's a question in the chat box from Levi. So the question is, most of us that earn in local currency have a challenge of Naira devaluation on a daily basis. Example, my Naira salary take home is constant and dollar is on a high. Will you encourage us to save in Naira or look for an alternative saving plan in dollar? This is actually a critical question. Thank you very much, Levi, for asking this question. So, panelists, over to you.
Okay, so let me attempt. I think we have a similar situation in Ghana here. Until some few months ago, I mean, the dollar was kind of skyrocketing on daily basis, though there has been some stability now. So the thing is, can I look to the crystal ball and do projections saying that if I invest in dollar, I'll be better off? Yes, you may get away with it, but in the situation where your currency gains, what do you call it? It appreciates again, and you have so much investment in dollar, you are going to suffer from what we call revaluation loss. And I think I cannot sit here or my colleague and say confidently that investing in dollar is more secured than investing in cedi. What I can say is that if you have some excess funds you really need to invest, based on the plan that you have an option to, one, get a reputable bank and buy fixed deposits. That one comes with a good, should I say, an appreciable interest rates as compared to a savings account, which is less than 10%. Okay, so this one you can get maybe, I don't know of Nigeria, but in Ghana around 30%. Now, this could kind of cushion you against any shocks or any depreciation of the currency of your country. Another thing you can do is, I don't know of Nigeria, but in Ghana, land appreciates over time. So you can invest your money in buying lands, but in as much as possible, make sure the land that you are buying doesn't have any encumbrance. It is free of litigation. Once you invest on this land, I can tell you, over time, the value of the land appreciates and you can get more returns as opposed to either investing in a fixed deposit or investing in a dollar. So it is for you to look at the options available and look at the one that would suit you. But hey, if you can look to the crystal ball and know that our currency is going to be this stable for this number of months, or maybe let's say a quarter or half year, it means that you would not necessarily need to invest in dollar. But in a situation where you project towards the second half of the year, you know, developing countries, we like importation, we want to import things for Christmas and all other, for the Yuletide, definitely you expect the dollar to go up within this period. For this period, I can confidently say, okay, maybe do some investment in dollar, but make sure after December, January, February, then you start looking at other options. Otherwise, if your local currency appreciates again, then you are going to suffer from revaluation losses. Thank you.
Thank you, Abu Razak. Rachel, do you have anything to add, or we should just move to the next question?
Oh yes. Though Mr. Abdurazak touched on it a bit, it's still centered around diversification, right? So, in as much as we know, I mean, just as I said, in Nigeria, it's about the same thing. The naira keeps depreciating every day. Okay. It's ideal to just diversify your portfolio. If you earn some sort of income in dollar, I mean, there are a couple of dollar mutual funds that you can, save in. You can also engage in um you can also get euro bonds. They are debt securities issued in a currency other than the naira. So, these two can help you cushion that effect, or more like hedge, from your naira losses. And I mean, you can also seek to earn income from other sources. So it means we're in an environment where you can work from anywhere in the world, right? So you can seek to also earn some income from working, sitting in Nigeria, and then, working abroad and also earning some dollar, just to have a bit of stability. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so we have two hands raised in the chat box, and in fact, we are just rounding the time now. We have spent much of we've spent like 1 minute for our time. So, Madabuchi, I think I got your name right. Can you just quickly ask your question? And we just have less than, in fact, we don't have time again. So just your question quickly, and Ididion. First, Madabuchi should ask his question.
Thank you, Precious. I want to appreciate SPE for the synergy between Nigeria and Ghana for bringing up this financial literacy series. At least, we can encourage that there's a lot to learn, not just from Twitter, but also from SPE synergy. My question is based on the devaluation and depression of the economy. Now, we can understand that technically, if we look at it, your income at the end of the month, that's inflow, is actually on a loss, since with the rate of depreciation of or the devaluation of the currency, in some cases you see some economy or some currencies with as much as over 33% increase, or rather decrease in value. Now, in this aspect, how would you suggest some kind of budgeting and investment strategies to people in this kind of situation? Thank you very much.
Do you get his question? Our panelist. Or could you rephrase? Just
what I'm trying to say is this: looking at the states, the value of a certain currency goes down. So totally defies the laws of the economics, where you see people are buying and liabilities are appreciating. That is as a result of the currency. So we don't see that currency, an inflation rate of over 30%. Now, in this case, you already understand that your income at the end of the month, that's your salary or your wages at the end of the month, is already on a loss. So what are the strategies that one from this kind of country or from this kind of economy, what are the strategies or what are the investment plan that individual can see or can consider, so as to at least get some kind of profit when he already knows he's already made?
Okay, thank you. You were breaking off. You weren't so audible, but I think I got a bit of the question right. And I think we have touched on some of those strategies. If I understand you, it's still focused on the increasing inflation vis-a-vis the currency depreciation, right? The question is, what strategies can one put in place, right, to to be, should I say, better financially safe. And I think one item that Mr. Razak mentioned was investing in properties, right? We talked about the fact that properties appreciate over time. So instead of holding money today, right, just saving it in a bank account, why don't you invest that money in something that will give you some sort of returns? Put it I mean, seek a trusted developer. There are different ways properties are being sold, some through developers, some you could buy from family, friends, and however, but there was a caveat on ensuring that you buy from right sources and buy properties with appropriate documentation. So that's a bit, so that's more like you hedging your naira today against the future, because the truth is, if I'm going to buy a plot of land, say in a particular area in Lagos today, or let me just give I could buy, I could use 10 million naira to buy a land, say somewhere in Ikeja, right? Today, 3 years down the lane, that same plot of land will be, say, 15 million. So I would rather invest in it today. So that's one strategy. Another one would be to look out for investment opportunities, and then that was where we talked about diversification, right? How do I spread my portfolio such that I am not impacted negatively, or even if there is a negative impact, right, I'm losing from a particular portfolio, I should be gaining from another. Okay, so how do I spread my portfolio? So you could have a few shares, but in all of this, you need to do your research. You need to speak with trusted advisors. You need to also get some sort of financial information, read up newsletters and all of that, right? What what um what 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 shares are doing well in Nigeria? In Nigeria, we have a couple of shares that are doing really well, right? You can also buy some foreign shares. There are a couple of apps. I know about Chaka, I know about RiseVest, where you can also buy a few foreign shares, right? So spread your portfolio. That way, you have a kind of buffer. You are not losing entirely. But the truth is, the naira is depreciating. So you have to look at creative means. It's not a time where you just sit. You have to be financially intelligent. So you have to seek this knowledge, right? Talk to trusted advisors and do the needful. Another thing you can also leverage on is the pension contribution. You talked about it, long-term contribution. I know that with the Pension Reform Act of 2014, right, in Nigeria, the Nigerian Pension Reform Act, that's with the amendment in 2014, there's a provision for some voluntary pension contribution. You could pass some of these monies to your pension fund, right? And truth be told, a lot of these pension funds, a few that I know are actually doing very well in terms of the interest, the returns on. So, but you also need to know there are different funds. I know there's the fund one, fund two, all with different asset class and different interests, all depending on your risk appetite. So you need to even know where your monies are being channeled to. So I think is a function of diversification and financial education. You need to know. Okay, you need to just get into that space, talk with people that have this information, seek out knowledge, and then know how to spread your earnings to cushion the effect of the naira depreciation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rachel. We learned about diversification. We should be able to know how to diversify our savings, our spendings. And also, we need to do research, know where to invest this our income. We want to apologize to those raising up their hands because we cannot be able to take some of these your questions. And we also want to advise that you could, for further questions, you could chat our panelists up on LinkedIn. If you get their name, you can reach them on LinkedIn, you can drop your question, and I'm pretty sure they'll be able to answer you there on LinkedIn. Thank you very much, our panelists. Maybe just 1 minute, last words from Rachel, and last word from Abdulrazak. Rachel, please.
Sorry, I was speaking muted. Okay, so for last words, please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, for last
We
words,
can hear you.
I have a quote, right, by Warren Buffett. In fact, two quotes, right? And he says, "Do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving." That's one. There's also another one where he said, "If you buy things you do not need, soon you will have to sell things you need." I mean, those quotes are very, very clear, right? And that's on spending habits. Okay, it basically talks about prioritizing. How do I prioritize? How do I differentiate my needs from my wants? Okay, so that's one. And then this brings me to lifestyle inflation, right? Sometimes you find yourself in a situation where your income increases and your spend, you just feel like, oh, I mean, I've gotten some more money, I can indulge, you know, and you feel like I can't be left behind. I mean, I need to change my lifestyle. It's called lifestyle inflation. I mean, what is most important is focus on long-term financial stability as against immediate lifestyle upgrades. Okay, so the goal, the last word specifically, will be find the balance between your wants and your needs. And I mean, treat yourself occasionally, but make sure you're not overspending and putting yourself into a difficult financial situation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rachel. Mr. Razak, over to you.
Thank you very much. My final comments, let's keep educating ourselves financially. It's very important. Let's challenge ourselves to achieving financial freedom and financial success. Let's be very deliberate about our spending decisions. And importantly, let's, as much as possible, protect our gains. And I'll end with a quote from David Bailey, that to get rich, you have to be making money whilst you are asleep. This is very deep, and I think we should look at it. Make money whilst you are asleep. That will guarantee you financial success and financial freedom. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Abu Razak. Make money while we are asleep. Thank you very much. Our next session will be the membership drive. But before our membership drive, let's welcome our YP chair to announce our senior members that are here. We have some senior members on the call. YP chair, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you so much, Precious. Yeah, so when you say YP chair, we have two YP chairs here. So that's my brother and friend, if he, yeah, will not be. Okay, so it was a very, very educative financial section for me. I don't know, but I'm lost for words to actually quantify this, but I'm very grateful to the speakers and the panelists, right? So a quick one. I just want to actually recognize our senior members on the call. We are graced. After I do this, I'll hand over to Fifi to actually recognize the persons from Ghana section here for have the membership drive. So we are great to have senior section directors on this call. I can see two senior section directors, yeah, in the person of Engineer Erasmus Nana, yeah, that works for Shell, and Engineer Mohammed Othman, that works for Ajib. Good evening, sir. We are very, very grateful to have you on the call. Yeah, we are very, very grateful. Thank you. So, also on the call, I'm seeing Chairman Amazuba. She's the YP Assistant Symposium Chair. Yeah, and Manuela Agbo, which is the YP Assistant Chair for the section. Okay, so yeah, Ian is on the call. He's the fundraising for the YP fundraising chair. Nicolas Asime is the technical team lead and also the symposium chair for the YPs for Port Harcourt section. So I don't know about to Fifi, if there's any recognition of senior members from your end for Ghana, then we can have them back. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, thank you very much. I would not want to continue my talking because I was actually expecting to add all my words in the closing remarks. But since I've been called from the list, I see from the list, I see Professor Richard Amorin on the list and quite a number of other SPE Ghana section members on. So I don't want to waste much time. I will advise we move on. Then maybe in my closing remarks, I'll make mention of some of the additional names. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, YPTS, both from Ghana and Section 103. And thank you very much, our guests, Rachel Iago and Abdurazak. Hope I didn't murder your name. I know I did. I'm sorry. Please, a virtual hand of applause for our guests. So before we move into the next session, please can we hand over the session to Simeon, so we can just turn on your cameras and take some pictures. So you can just turn on your cameras so we can take some pictures, everyone. Okay. See my face. Oh, everybody. This is the part where we flip. I'm not seeing myself. Oh. Senior, are we good to go? Are you muted? I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
Okay, though I've snapped a couple of pictures, but some videos are still coming up. Okay, let's snap the last. Okay, 1 second, small.
Hello? I don't need.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Simeon. Thank you, Simeon. Okay, so quickly, let's move into our next session. Thank you. Which is the membership drive.
Hello, Simeon, please can you unmute Chiamaka Uche? She's the one taking the membership drive.
Okay, she can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. Good evening. This was a very wonderful session. Thank you to our guests for sharing a lot of how to save and how to maintain our expenses and also grow, for the future purpose, future use. We welcome all the members and the non-members, if any, in this presentation and in this call today. We want to use this opportunity to ask those that have not paid their due for this year to please kindly do that. And also we want to also use this opportunity to let you invite this SPE section 103 is for the youth, is for the young students, for graduates, for young professionals, and also for senior members. You have friends in different places, please encourage them, invite them to join. As you can see, you've learned a lot today. We also want to, share that with others. And for them to be able to enjoy this opportunity, they have to be members. So please kindly invite your colleagues, your classmates, your friends, your family members. Remember, SP is only for people that only core area is maybe petroleum. No, we have people in accounting. We have people in different area of fields that work together to achieve the purpose of this oil and gas business. So this society is open for all. So please, we are pleading with you all to kindly, invite your friends, invite your colleagues. And also, as you can see from the screen, for students it's free. For new registration, we have 36,000 naira. Renewal is for 28,500. So please visit our website, and we hope that you're going to send this message to your friends and family members and colleagues to come and join us, because we are open to accommodate a lot of persons. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Amaka, for taking the membership drive. So the last part of this section will be the closing remark, and it will be taken by the YP chair for SPE section 197. YP chair, you have the floor. Hello, Ghana YP chair, you have the floor. Is he on the call? Yes. Someone from the Ghana section, stand up for him. You can just put up your hands. I think you can go ahead and speak.
Yeah, please unmute now.
If you can unmute. Hello, Fifi, if you're on the call, can you unmute yourself, because we can't hear you?
I think it's struggling to, I don't let,
yes.
yeah.
Yes, he's currently, I think he's not, his network is fluctuating. He's not on the call. It's coming up and off. So we should just hold on a little bit for him.
Hi, Fifi's having trouble unmuting himself, so can you assist him, please?
Okay, so he's here. Tell them. Hello, Fifi, can you speak now? We are waiting for you.
Okay, so Simon, do you need to make him a co-host so that I can speak?
No.
Okay, he can actually unmute by himself. He can speak, be it co-host or not, so he can speak from his end. Or anybody that is either the membership chair or deputy membership chair can stand in for him while he's having a network issue.
Yeah, please, anybody from Ghana section, please, so that we can save time. Yeah. Thank you so much.
So since Fifi and there's no one on the call to stand in for the Ghana section, I think we can move on to the next section, which is the closing remark. And section 103 chair, YP chair, I think you can handle this, right?
Yeah, I can, but I wanted my brother and friend to, but it's fine. It's fine.
Network.
So, okay, I'll ask Ella, the answer YP chair for Port Harcourt to take the closing remark. Please, Ella. Ella, are you there? Okay, so I don't keep people waiting on the call for long. So thank everyone. I want to thank all of us for spending, especially the panelists. I would say, like I said earlier, I've been financially educated this evening, and this information are very, very key and vital when you get it at the start. It's not just about the year. It can be a 5 years plan, it can be a 10 years plan, it can even be a life plan to be financially stable. Yeah, but actually, I want to thank everyone here, and also Ghana and backup section, right? So I saw one of our exits, Erasmus, and Otman. They were giving a serious congratulations in the chat box, and Erasmus even said I did this regional, and actually it is, and collaboration is the key actually. So we'll be having more of this collaboration. Thank you. Yeah, so we can go ahead. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
yes,
welcome.
we can hear you.
Yes, I don't know what was happening. It was after we took the screenshot, I think my thing dropped, and when it came back, it had that issue. So if I would quickly run through, I think my membership chair was also having such similar issues. Anytime he connects, it drops. He gets dropped from the meeting. I don't know what is really the issue, but maybe some networking problems. But from my end, if I run through the membership aspect from the Ghana section, so what we have on our screen now is our membership chair, Yao Frimpong, and deputy by Derek. We are actually growing our membership from the Ghana section since the past 2 years, and it's been a great initiative that we have been doing, the activities that we have been doing. And I think our social media links are all shown there in terms of our student members and our professional members. You have 400 plus. I know Ghana is a small country as compared to Nigeria, but gradually we are we are competing for the members in a way. Next slide, please. Yeah, these are just some pictures of some engagements that we've been having. Our technical engagement in terms of the local content conference we participated in and some deals that we had recently. Next, please. I don't want to waste my time. Next, please. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Right, again? Okay. Yes, so this also in addition to our membership drive, some CSR programs that we have been doing. And yeah, I think that will be all. So if you are on this meeting and you are within our range and you have not been a member, kindly follow our social media links that we shared. We do post a lot of activities and a lot of, we do engage all our members and non-members on that group. As you can see on our LinkedIn, our website, our YouTube account, our IG account, Facebook account, and X, formerly known as Twitter account, all at SPE Ghana. Just search us and you will find us easily. So that is it on the membership drive. Can I continue to close it out? Justice. Or we take the announcement before?
Yeah, we are done. Like, I just take the announcement now and close there.
Yes,
Okay, so these are the main YPs for Port Harcourt section for January, Michael Aku and Millicent Ohonso. Yeah, so next slide, please. Okay, so these are social media pages if you want to engage with Port Harcourt section. We are active on LinkedIn, Twitter, which is not X, and Instagram, YouTube, and this program is even live streamed. So probably at some point you see it on YouTube, which you can also re-download it. And also watch it for your own personal knowledge and just for making sure you recall this information you got here. We are also on Facebook. Please next slide. Okay. Yeah, what is it? Go ahead, please. Okay, we are taking a closer remark. Okay.
Yes, so in closing, I want to thank our speakers, Rachel and Abdul Razak, for this great time that you spent with us. It's really been very educative. I mean, even before the program ended, I was getting a lot of messages on my WhatsApp, on my personal messages, people really making great comments about this program. So I really thank the speakers. Next, I'll thank the moderator and the committee, that is the collaborator committee, that's the Port Harcourt and the Ghana section committee that was able to put together this event. It's been a really great event. From there, I would like to inform us all about some future programs for the African region. So coming May, the African region is hosting the African Young Professionals Workshop in Ghana. And as part of it, there will be an away day as the normal thing. And this will be going with the section officers workshop, as well as the Ghana BICE, which is the biennial seminar and exhibition. So I really want to invite us all on this call for this May event. You can't afford to actually miss this event. I know there are a lot of, to my Nigerian brothers and co, some have not really visited Ghana. I would advise you take advantage of this event to visit Ghana and see how beautiful our natural places look like. So with that, I would like to end here and thank all of you for taking time out of your busy schedule
and participating in this event. Thank you.
Thank you, YP Chair, Section 197.